Welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That is Anderson. I'm Bryan Bishop, host for today, our annual Top 5 Sundance Preview episode. Top 5 Sundance films we're looking forward to seeing down the road at some point, perhaps, maybe. These are movies that are playing at Sundance right now as we speak, maybe. And we'll be talking about our 5 most anticipated. Or in Anderson's case, maybe 10, maybe 12.
Yeah, I got 10.
Of course.
Showed restraint. I did
Really
five narratives, 5 docs, because I mean, a lot of time I think you pointed out very astutely, right? Got your attention.
Yeah,
I know how to get your attention. That a lot of the time it's the docs that actually end up getting more love and more appreciation over the years.
Oh, did I say that?
Well, actually, that was me.
God damn it.
Yeah. So cool. The dreaded Sundance preview is
Why
upon
is it
us.
dreaded?
Because of the amount of goddamn... There's only 99 movies, but the way that I go about things, I just can't...
You got to picture them in your mind start to finish in real time?
I mean, I read... what I do is I go to their little Sundance website. I go to their little, different categories. You know, they got, 12 in most categories. Some they have, 36, inexplicably. And, they have, the drama competition. Then they have the... international drama, and then they have and then they have Spotlight, and they have Next, and they have Midnight. They have all these categories, and I go through each one.
Special screenings,
but that doesn't. That's like CG. I mean, virtual reality.
No. Those are usually ones that are out of competition. They're just showing ones that maybe played at other
Spotlight.
festivals.
Like our favorite documentary, our favorite films that have already screened around the world, but we like them a lot. We're going to show them. They're like the ones that did well.
Sure.
So what I'll do is I'll look at the title instead of just reading about it there. I gotta go over to IMDb and I gotta type it in there, and then I gotta see who the filmmakers are and see their previous work and see who's in it and read about it. It's just exhausting. That's how I go about it, Brian.
I just to pick the first 5 I see.
I don't know. No, I think you probably go to Rotten Tomatoes and go, which movies from Sundance have been scored.
I use my AI Rotten Tomatoes predictor.
Okay, I don't like that. Do we have any bit of business?
Do we?
To get to?
We should probably mention that we're doing an Oscar watch along next month.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. And because people who are hearing this,
there's Patreon people who might be hearing this, listen to it as soon as it gets dropped, and that means if you're hearing this this week. Thursday this week we'll be watching Killer Clowns live.
That's
Killer
right.
Clowns from Outer Space.
That's right.
That'll be fun. I'll have some tidbits. I assume Brian might too. We'll have some behind the scenes, some little nuggets of information to bestow upon you.
Always.
Yes.
There'll be mirth. There'll be a child walking by who doesn't belong there.
Might be a child who's trying to sneak into the screening, like a
lot
lot of us used
clowns.
to do. A lot of us used to do that back in the day, and try to sneak in R-rated movies, and we'll be seeing that in real time with the boy.
How many questions would he have if he caught a glimpse of Killer Clowns?
He has questions about everything. It usually starts off with what happened. That's usually that's code.
That's baseline.
That's 6-year-old code for I'm not comfortable for what's going on right now. I'm not sure if I should be comfortable. I'm going to take the temperature of the room by saying what happened, and then if daddy or mommy are nervous in their response, I know to be nervous.
Bad.
So sometimes I fuck with them because I hear them say what happened. I'm like, you didn't see the body. And he'll be like, what? And he'll look up, start looking around. I'll be like, no, settle down, bud. I'm kidding.
So,
I got big trouble this morning.
You can look forward to that. What happened?
I got big trouble. Not big trouble, but I could tell she was not pleased at all with my fuck around that I was doing with the kid. I love Atticus. I love him to death. I just love fucking with him, though. And I've actually asked him. I said, hey, buddy, you know how I mess with you all the time? He goes, yeah. I say, do you want me to not mess with you anymore? He says, no.
Oh my God, he's beaten down. He's not going to say no.
He likes it. But maybe I go too far a little bit. So this morning, long story, but I had to get dropped off before we dropped him off at school. So Jillian, my wife, was driving us a different route. She was taking us away from his school so she could drop me off. And I'm like, oh, Atticus hasn't even noticed. I was a little bit annoyed that he didn't notice that we were completely going the opposite direction. I'm like, hey, Addie, where are we right now? And he's looking around. He's like, oh, yeah, where are we? I'm like, we didn't want to tell you this, but you're going to a different school starting today. You'll never see your teacher ever again, or your friend. Jillian just cut me off at the knee. She goes, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, I guess that was kind of. He's like, really? I look back. His eyes are all wide. He's like, really?
A little intense.
I'm like, nobody, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Dad's a dick. It's just so fun to fuck with someone who's so easy to fuck with.
You're skewing that kid so bad.
I know. I always come back around. I always let him know.
Oh my God, he's gonna have such a bad relationship.
When are you
with
going to
his
teach him to
boss.
push you out of a moving car?
He's not going to have a bad relationship with his boss.
Any authority figure, the cops.
Why is that?
Because you're the ultimate authority figure in his life.
Yeah, and he has a great relationship with me. Yeah, he's not going to be able to
Terrorizing
mimic
him.
it. Oh, he does. He is going to have a bad relationship with cops because of the school cop. Oh my God, that school cop.
Oh,
He's-
I've heard tale.
my God.
What happened? What happened now?
You know what? I think we might have made a difference because I have not seen old school
School cop?
copy in a few days. Maybe
Maybe he's taking his pension.
I don't know, but that guy, he's just, there's already tensions are already high with the cops over there, and then like the next generation, thanks to this cop in my little neck of the woods, is not going to like cops because pretty much the majority of the school population has had this experience where they're on their way to school with their parents, and right before they get dropped off, they see cop man pulling their parent over and giving them a ticket and speaking to them like they're a perp. And like so many little kids, like kindergarten.
Is he
like,
allowed to give tickets?
Mommy, what's that? Yeah, he gives tickets. They're real life
What
fucking
are they
tickets
for?
too. They're for parking violations. And he takes out a little measuring tape to see how far you
Oh
are
my
from the
God.
curb. He is the worst, Brian.
Measuring tape.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw him in action. I'm like, oh God, we're at one of those schools where they have to have a cop present because of the fucking crazy world we live in. That's what I thought at
No,
orientation.
he's a revenue generator.
And then I showed up for the first day of school, and the very first thing I saw was him parked right in the middle of the street in a small residential, so everyone has to drive around him. They're almost fucking colliding with each other to get around this cop. And he's got his little measuring tape, and he's literally bending over like some kind of Simpsons character, measuring from the curb to see if he can give this guy legally a ticket.
This
for
is
being,
terrible.
Oh, the worst. The worst. All right, anyways, I spent 30 minutes talking about that on the after last week. We don't need to talk about it here. Let's talk Sundance flicks.
Sundance flicks 5-1, or in Anderson's case 10-1. These are the movies we're most anticipating. Do you want to go over last year's list? For me, I feel very embarrassed.
Oh, no. Are we doing that?
We don't have to. But I should point out that
I think it's bad for the brand.
after a good run, it looks like, of 3 or 4 years of picking good movies, seeing good movies, knocking them off my list, I saw 1 of my 5 last year, and I didn't even like it that much. Number 5 from last year, I was looking forward to seeing Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. Pretty marginal. Number 4 is a documentary called TikTok Boom. Not sure it ever came out.
No, it didn't.
Number 3, I still really want to see. I just don't have a subscription to Showtime.
Wait. Oh, TikTok Boom, the one about TikTok and how it took off, yes.
Number 3, Nothing Compares, the Sinead O'Connor documentary. Number 2, Second Chance documentary about a guy who invented a certain type of bulletproof vest and shot himself almost 200 times in demonstrating how it worked over and over again. And number 1, we need to talk about Cosby. Ended up being a 2-parter that I just didn't bother with, again, because it was on Showtime.
I don't want to read my list. It's embarrassing. So we'll just move on. I did see one, though, and it was
You saw one?
The Worst Person in the World, which was very good. Son of a bitch. Look at this list.
Littered with not seen.
All right. Yeah, so, okay. Guaranteed that at least a couple of mine are going to break through that are on my list this year.
When?
I don't know. Probably, it takes like about 5 to 10 years to get a cult following.
When a listener assigns him in 6
that's
years.
fair. Yeah. Anderson, this is on your list. You should see it.
I made a promise that I will be watching, when we do fall previews, summer preview, I will watch all the movies on those lists. I promise.
Wow.
I can't make the same promise for these goddamn Sundance movies.
Some will come out.
Yeah.
Have you watched Fly Me to the Moon yet?
I did. I did watch Fly Me to the Moon. It was on good. Hey, and I'll also say, earlier in the week we did Flick Fashions, and I did Atlanta season 1 and 2 with Avery, who helped me out. I don't know if we really did it justice. It's tough to do a full season, let alone 2
Especially
seasons.
when it came out 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, you saw it 5 years ago. I've seen them all recently, but I don't know if we did it justice. And it's a fun show to talk about. Like, I could see doing, episodic reviews of a show like Atlanta.
For sure. But hopefully we undersold it.
But I saw 2 other movies last week that I just didn't bother to talk about, and I probably never will. Like Strange World. I don't have much to say about Strange World, the Disney flop from last year, but I watched it in its entirety with the boy. But I think Atlanta is a much better movie to talk about.
Still have not seen.
That's all I'm saying. All right, where are we going here? We started
Your list.
Let's get to
Your
it.
list from last year.
No, I'm not.
Come on, you've already set up. Pay it off. It's good. It's good plan.
I think I'm ready. Brainwashed, a documentary called Brainwashed Sex Camera Power. It was all about the male guys in cinema.
Male
and
gays?
media. Guys. Gaze. Whatever. Either
What is a gaze?
What is it,
What is a
guys?
gaze?
What are
Gaze.
guys? What are guys?
The male, just in how it's it's all like male dominated. I was ready to watch that and be angry about many things, maybe learn a thing or two. The Worst Person in the World, which we both watched and liked. Lucy and Desi. Oh, I did see that. Wait, I did see that.
Oh, see, look at us.
Oh no, I didn't.
That was the doc.
I saw the doc.
Oh.
Wasn't that the doc?
Was it called Being the Ricardos?
Oh wait, no, I didn't see the doc. I saw the
the
Nicole
the
Kidman,
So Being the Ricardos.
which I liked. I actually liked that. But the Amy Poehler directed Lucy and Desi, I did not see.
It was okay.
Neither nor did I see Navalny, which I think is up for best
It is
documentary.
a best documentary.
And that was a last minute ad last year as well. And then number one was my Jihad Rehab, which I did not see. Jihad Rehab, which I guess has been rebranded. It is now called the Unredacted, and no one saw it because it only has 200 reviews on IMDb, which tells you very, very few people. But here's the storyline, and this is why. Here's the plot line, which is why I flagged it as my number one. Guantanamo Bay detainees are released into a year-long program of de-radicalization in Saudi Arabia with the eventual goal of finding jobs and starting families. Sounds fascinating.
Indeed.
Obviously, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, look at the poster, for God's sakes. It's just unbranded picture of a couple Saudi fellas driving away from the camera in a golf cart. That's the fucking poster
Could
on IMDb.
not be more dull.
This movie did not get any traction at all, and I can only assume it's because it's not great. The Unredacted, or my number one, also known as my number one, Jihad Rehab, which is a much better title, right? Jihad Rehab?
Yeah,
Much sexier than Unredacted.
I'm still on a futile quest to track down a list on my 2018 a movie on my 2018 list called The Cleaners. It's a documentary about
I remember that one.
the people who go on the internet and scrub bad things about you or take off porn or whatever it is. Apparently, is a good movie. Has 93% of Rotten Tomatoes. Not to be streamed. Cannot be streamed anywhere. Perhaps on YouTube. I don't know.
All right. I'm going to start my list.
Did it ever come out? I have no idea.
This year, one with the accidental getaway driver. This is just pure hunch. I'm not going to go off full hunch on my later picks.
Full hunch.
I'm going off of
Full
people
hunch.
involved, but this one I'm just going off plot line essentially, and that is during a routine pickup, an elderly Vietnamese cab driver is taken hostage at gunpoint by 3 recently escaped Orange County convicts.
Oh.
I'm assuming it's Orange County. Down here, it could be Orange County, Florida. Now that I think about it,
That's a good point.
But this is directed by Sing J. Lee, and I just like the premise, and it could be good. Not all my picks are going to be this absurd as far as
far so good.
lack of detail.
Information.
Yes.
Most of mine, a lot of them don't have information. They just have the write up on the website.
Next, that's my narrative, my documentary. This is actually kind of a sexy one because a big story. I believe that even Avery was texting us the information about Justice, the first ever Doug Lineman documentary, and this is all about Brett Kavanaugh. However, it would have been higher on my list. However, so this is it was a surprise entry. I'm sure that it was all orchestrated this way, but it was, festival goers, and it's stressful, and you have a limited time. You got to very carefully pick which screenings you're going to go to, and people. I feel like we pour over the stupid Sundance program, but I mean the people that are there, they really have to because they're living and they're going to these things, and then they do this thing where like, oh, by the way, it's not on the program, but this just in, Justice will be screening now tomorrow. If you'd like to, Doug Lineman's first ever documentary about Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Justice.
Court Justice.
And so if you'd like to see that, you got to fuck your plans and try and make it in. From all accounts, there's no smoking gun here. It's just more of a shining the spotlight once again.
Look at what happened.
Yeah, look what happened. Let's try and get some more traction on getting this guy, getting the justice that he deserves.
Justice.
So apparently but it's interesting because it's Doug Lineman, who's never made a documentary, and we'll see. And it's scant. It's 85 minutes. Now, I'm also hearing that it might be undone because I think they're still waiting for some other chips to fall. And they might actually add to this thing and give it a proper release or a proper ending. Yeah. So
Okay.
Justice is my number 5.
Number 5 for me is a documentary, as are all of mine.
All?
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
Every single one.
Jesus.
Wouldn't be. This would not be a film that I would normally be interested in, based on just the general description. However, I found myself drawn to Kim's video. Are you interested in Kim's video?
Is this Kim Kardashian?
It is not. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Would it be?
No. This is
Because I've
a.
seen that documentary.
This is a video store.
Avery.
This how dare you? Oh, gross! This is a video store that existed in New York City for many years. They eventually the proprietor, Mr. Kim, eventually acquired over 55,000 videotapes, and of course, videotapes went the way they went. And he found himself, I guess, unable to keep the business up. New York, very expensive, et cetera, et cetera. And he gave it all away to a small Italian village that wanted his collection because they were so remote. This is obviously the days before streaming, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take your 55,000 videos." And apparently, part of this is done as kind of a crime thriller whodunit, like a heist movie. Like, where do those videos end up? Well, who has them? Where are they? And I'm interested in learning more about Kim's video.
This is ringing zero bells.
Really?
Which troubles me.
For me, it kind of jumped off the page. I was like,
Troubles
that's
me.
interesting. Kim's video.
This troubles me. All right.
Are you not finding it, or are you finding it?
Andy's troubles.
These troubles. I'm sorry, guys, but I shouldn't be admitting this, bro. I should just stiff upper lip and soldier forward.
You
But,
really didn't even come across this?
I'm sure I did.
Or you dismissed it out of hand?
I'd be lying though if I told you that I'm not rooting in my head for you to have fucked up and be looking at a different Sundance list.
Oh,
from
I
years
hope
past.
so.
I'm hoping that's the case because that would make me feel better about all of this. Number 4, narrative for me. This is the narrative that has caught my eye, and here we go. We got some people in this one that you will be familiar with.
I'm sorry to tell you, it is 2023 Sundance Film Festival.
Cassandro is the name of the narrative that I'm interested in. This stars Gail Garcia Bernal, Bad Bunny, who is an actor that we don't talk about enough on this here program, and it follows the true life story of Cassandro, the exotico character created by Saul Armendariz, a gay amateur wrestler from El Paso.
Oh, yes,
who
yes,
rose,
yes.
who
Yes,
rose.
yes.
All right, settle down. Just because you remember my pick and I don't remember your pick doesn't mean you gotta go.
I'm just saying I remember it.
From El Paso, who rose to international stardom. I don't know anything about Cassandro, so that interests me. I like.
You don't know Cassandra?
No. Shut up.
Neither do I.
Yeah. It's from the director who brought us one of our favorites, Brian, from recent years, Life Animated.
Oh, yeah. Solid documentary. I like that one.
About the autistic fella who was trying to find love, essentially, and trying to come out of his shell and try to live
trying to
in
do
the
a lot of
world. He
things.
was trying to do a lot of things, and he was completely. It's such a beautiful story. I love that story. He's like completely in himself until he started watching Disney movies.
Yeah, he could only relate to the world through the Disney films. Where was it? The clamshell VHS?
Yeah, that's it. So Roger Ross Williams is the director of this one, the same guy. So this is a narrative, but it's a biopic. So he knows how to do a documentary. We'll see how it translates to Cassandro with Gail Garcia Bernal in the titular characters, you might say. This is an R-rated film coming in an hour and 39 minutes. Cassandro. And then number 4, director for me. Oh, Brian.
Director or documentary?
Documentary. I'd be a little surprised if Iron Butterflies is not on your list. No? It's kind of a whodunit.
Not.
In the summer of 2014, Brian.
Tell me.
Sunflower fields
Mhm.
and coal mines in eastern Ukraine turned into a 12-square-kilometer crime scene. They tape it off. I'm shocked that they have that much tape to be able to tape off.
Yeah, they probably use multiple rolls.
A multi-layered investigation into the downing of flight MH17.
Oh, yeah.
In which a butterfly-shaped shrapnel piece was found in the pilot's body. And it implicates the state responsible for the war crime that remains unpunished. So it's kind of a documentary that, if it is compelling, we'll get to the end and we'll just be outraged that this piece of butterfly-shaped shrapnel has not led to justice, Brian.
I was going to say, I remember seeing this and thinking it looked pretty compelling, but I went with some films that are going to upset you.
Iron Butterflies is my number 4 documentary, not director, because that would make no sense, because Iron Butterflies is not a director yet. But if society goes on long enough, I'd imagine one day there will be a director named Iron Butterflies.
Okay.
Or the shrapnel becomes sentient.
That's right.
We don't need that to happen. I'm just saying that some crazy fuck will name their child Iron Butterflies. And
You think it's probably happened, though, in the world, yeah?
have they become a director?
That's a good point. Number 4 for me, Anderson, you can sit this one out.
Sitting.
And if you'll indulge me, listeners, this is for real. There is a movie playing at Sundance that I am very excited to see, and it took a lot of restraint to keep it at number 4. It was bulging on my list, bursting,
Right.
threatening to climb atop the list. But I bridled myself, and I made it number 4. Steph Curry, underrated. Oh yeah, it's on your list too. I'll be quick about it.
You know what this is, because they're all documentaries for you. This is akin to you picking up a New York Times, like a Sunday New York Times, and you just picking articles you would like to read.
Directed by Peter.
Right? Is it not akin to that?
I mean, it's much better. I can see in the theater.
Don't have to read.
A and A plus. You're right. You're right about that. Directed by Peter Nix, director of Homeroom, which I enjoyed very much. This is profile, as you can imagine, of Steph Curry. The underrated prospect out of Davidson College, who went number 7. What team drafted him? Now, we'll have Avery look that up, but whoever it was, sure, lucky franchise. And we're going to learn a lot more about Steph Curry.
I can't wait to read more
I'm
about the.
going to sign this to you. We're going to see it together.
The
I'm
slight
gonna
in stature.
I want to see it with you.
Why?
Because
Why do you love Steph Curry so much? What if you played
he's
for the
brought
Bulls?
me so much joy.
What if you played for the Bulls?
He wouldn't have brought me anywhere near as much joy.
I'm looking for your.
He was
Kim.
drafted by Golden State.
Oh, see, that's why I like him so much. He's brought me so much happiness in my life.
Okay, great, cool.
So why do you like Mario Lemieux?
You're mispronouncing his name. Why do you hate him?
Why do you like Mario?
Why do you hate Mario? Because he stood you up. He didn't even stand you up.
He just said no.
Flat out
He
no.
said no.
He's like, thank you. I would rather not do anything with you.
That's right. He rejected me
Smart
out
man.
of hand.
Hey, you don't become successful in any field without having the gut instinct. I'm looking for your goddamn Kim B movie. Your Kim videos.
Kim's videos.
Where? What?
Just Google Kim's videos.
I know, but I'm
Sundance.
trying to find it in the Sundance.
I don't know what to tell you.
Do you have any idea what category it was in? Because I'm telling you, it did not show up.
It's an American film, I assume.
Brian, you understand the problem. I go on and on at the top of this program talking about how exhaustive my research is. Your very first pick has me dumbfounded. It does not look for me.
It's like you're like a boxer who's like, I'm going to beat up on this tomato can, and the first thing I just hit you an uppercut. You're just stunned.
Tomato can?
That's right. You ever heard that? Tomato can is like a pushover.
What and where is? All right, I'll look for it when you're next talking, and I take a break.
I can go on about Steph Curry.
I'm good. Number 3 for me is another big name. You probably would. I think the people that like movies quite a bit. So Brian, you have no idea.
I'm out.
But Brandon Cronenberg, you familiar with that?
This is the pool movie.
Infinity Pool.
Yeah, that's
yes,
it.
Exactly. Infinity Pool is a
I
film
saw a
that's
trailer for this already.
screening in the midnight section, which is usually like horror or just completely zany out there movies that plays at Sundance. Brandon Cronenberg is the director. It's starring Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, and Cleopatra Coleman. And it's about a resort that these two stumble upon, apparently. And then one thing leads to another, and they realize that the resort that they're at is not just a run-of-the-mill resort. It's very hedonistic.
I'm telling you, I saw the trailer before, like The Whale or something.
Okay.
Huh.
Well,
Familiar.
evidently, it has a distributor already, and they're prepared to release it. So, yeah, that's
Things are not as they seem.
Very Blumhouse.
Things are not as they seem.
And yeah, it seems. Now the question is like, how much body horror is going to be in this? Because it's Brandon Cronenberg who's doing his best. It wouldn't shock me if we found out that it was actually David Cronenberg and he had already transported his consciousness into. Because it's weird that he's so into that kind of sci-fi, everything we know about David Cronenberg, and now he has a son who's carrying his legacy and trying to make
you think the son would go the other way?
A lot of the time they do, right? But not this guy. He's trying to make carbon copies of his dad's movies, so maybe they're one and the same or something. All right. So Infinity Pool, if you like that, that was another great cameo in Atlanta. Skarsgård.
Oh yeah, the Skarsgård is good.
Very good. Other
Jarring.
Possessor and Antiviral are two movies that have been covered on this here
Antiviral.
program.
That's right.
That were directed by Brendan Cronenberg. Antiviral is actually assigned by Josh Butler, who
I was going to say it was a listener assignment.
Assigned us Tex Montana.
Nice.
Yes. And
the upcoming Tex Montana sequel.
It's not that. It's very different. Oh, what is it? After Midnight.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you, Josh Butler. All right. Go.
Number 3.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I got another one. Come on. I know. My documentary at number 3 is AUM, The Cult at the End of the World. Brian, you came across this, I'm assuming?
I did, yes. I didn't make my list.
It didn't make your list. Interesting. I wonder if we
there
have
are
any
plenty of
crossover.
movies that are semi-interesting.
I mean, there's like 100 movies there, right? And I picked like the top 10%.
Hence the list. Yeah.
So this is about a deadly gas attack that happened in Tokyo back in 1995, on a subway. And apparently the cult behind it, who was responsible for the attack, are interviewed and talked about how they interviewed the people that lived through the horror, and they try and get to the bottom of what this cult AUM was after. So it's AUM, The Cult at the End of the World. And it's been a while since I've done any cult watching. I did a lot of cult watching there for a bit. Everything was cult this, cult that.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen anything on cults for a while.
Do some research.
Yeah, I was doing research for Cult of Toronto, as stupid as that sounds, but
you got to just talk to the man.
I did. And when I was writing Cult of Toronto, I was listening to a lot of miscellaneous adventures of Mike Toronto as well to get inside his head. It's the only time that I actually did a lot of active listening, trying to get inside the man's head. I did. It led to some good stuff that I wrote for the short film.
Were you involved in that, Avery?
I was.
He's in it.
That's what I thought.
Avery's in the Cult of Corona, which everyone can see. It's on the old YouTube page. Just type in Cult of Corona on YouTube. And
Logan's
you'll find
there.
Logan, Diana Van de Kamp.
That's right. It's real who's who.
Scott by Scott's in there. My sisters are in there. My wife, Tyler's wife. Oh, so many people. I invited you, Brian, but I'm like, I don't think you could survive in the valley heat.
It would have been good. I think I was pretty sick at that point.
Christy would have hung out, though.
Christy was there.
She was there.
She's in it.
That's right.
Was she?
No. All right, number 2.
All three of my dogs are in it. All 3 of them are all dead now. It's very sad.
Oh, It's a fitting tribute. Number 3. I don't know if this made your list, Anderson, but this is kind of a layup. I don't expect this to be too terrible.
More Steph Curry.
Good one.
Because I know layup is a basketball
that's
thing.
Good. It's a profile of one of our finest actors. When I say our, I mean Canada's. Still a Michael J. Fox movie, directed by Davis Guggenheim, director of Inconvenient Truth and Waiting for Superman. Of course, Michael J. Fox diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at age 29. He's still around, thank God, and we can look forward to, I think, if I read a description correctly, he's going to be reacting to a lot of scenes and characters and movies from his career. Always fun. Always fun.
The retrospect.
Mm-hmm. Give me your thoughts on this. What was going on in this scene?
You like that?
That's right.
You like that?
I hope to like it.
I hope that's what it's about. I hope it doesn't get too sad.
Think he'll pull Stephen King and he was too high on coke to remember.
He's like, yeah, I was whacked out on my meds.
Good pick there, Barbara. Do we take a break here? Is that what we do? Is that
we
how
should.
We do this? I found Kim's video.
Amazon.
Now I remember it was when I see the picture associated with it. That's how my brain works. I didn't pick up what you picked up on it though at all.
Really? Well, I did a little extra research.
It says playing with the forms and tropes of various cinema genres, the filmmaker sets off on a quest to find legendary lost video collection of 55,000 movies in Sicily. I'm like, all right.
That sounds horrendous.
It does, doesn't it? Like that did not get me wanting.
That sounds unwatchable.
And this is the picture. It's like
no.
It looks like maybe a Korean man trying to look like Dick Tracy.
That should be burned.
Thankfully, are they quiet people?
And Brian's like, ooh. And he actually read more. And actually, it is interesting to hear Brian talk about it.
Yeah.
But that synopsis makes me
horrendous.
Yeah.
Very excited that I don't have to add it to my list of maybes.
That was on my also-rans until I started doing a little more digging. And I'm like, oh, this sounds really interesting.
I like your methods of research, Brian. I like. There's no way we can have competition, though, and figure out whose list is better since I got 10 and you got 5. It's not shit.
Well, if you think of a way, I'm all for it.
Go doc for
maybe
doc.
just the docs, yeah.
Yep.
Since you have 5 docs and I got 5 docs.
Right. I can almost guarantee my last 2 are not going to be on your list.
All right.
I can almost
taking a quick break here.
Coming up next,
some Amazon.
We'll conclude our Sundance list after we talk about some Amazon purchases after this.
Will I wake up from this dream? That I'm
dream is a nightmare.
You and me.
Good stuff. I was looking at the list, Anderson, of interesting and notable purchases made through our Amazon banner on andersonandbryan.com, which, by the way, if you choose to use, number one, thank you. Number two, free, absolutely free, costs you nothing but a click, and helps us a little bit on the back end. I noticed South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. And I'm like, well, that goes in the movie category for Anderson. And then it said, no, music from and inspired by the motion picture. Yeah, someone got like a serious copy of South Park. I should have looked and see if it was the actual vinyl, because it cost more than like a download. You know what I mean?
What's the music from and inspired by? So like it's songs that didn't exist when the movie was made and now they exist?
Perhaps they're songs that didn't make the cut.
But if it's inspired by, how do you get inspired by and be a part of the actual
That's
make?
interesting.
It's
know what?
not just timeline.
I'll look that up while you're talking.
Chronological.
Other things purchased on the Amazon banner, via the Amazon banner, include Canon Pixma wireless professional color photo printer, Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond, 40,000 Commander Deck bundle. That is a lot of cards. Good luck with that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Avery's in. 10 Craig 14 by 20 inch black picture frames, Eco Drapes blackout curtains. God, I want some blackout curtains. Keep this fucking mouse dark. Boss digital reverb pedal, Wall professional cordless razor, senior. It says senior metal edition, but I wonder if it's the senior metal edition. Either way, thank you for getting that. Wall. I use a Wall myself. I use it just today. 2 Carhartt rugged flex pants. Hammermill printer paper was purchased. Someone got themselves 2 copies of a guide to project management body of knowledge. All right. Vowweek vacuum cleaner was picked up. Someone helped themselves to a Wrangler cowboy cut original fit jeans. Enjoy those. I mentioned the South Park. I gotta look that up. I imagine it's vinyl or some sort of collector's edition. Should have written that down. My bad. Nutrifoy men hair growth supplement. Hey, let me know if that shit works. USA Premium Store Roland blade holder. Joby compact light kit and tripod was picked up. Someone got themselves a meter competitor. Chef IQ smart wireless meat thermometer. Let me know how that shit works. Isopropyl alcohol, 4 gallons. Good Lord, you got a lot of sanitizing to do. 20,000 10-up shipping labels were purchased. Thank you very much for whoever you are who purchased that on a regular basis. I appreciate you very much. We appreciate you very much. Iso Pure creamy vanilla whey isolate protein powder. Columbia watertight 2 jacket was purchased. Someone got themselves Ingersoll Rand die grinder. Don't know what that is. Should look it up. And finally, someone got a Karcher Universal pressure washer. I kind of want a pressure washer. I mentioned that before.
I hear those videos on YouTube are fantastic to watch.
Great subreddit.
Very
Power
satisfying.
washing
Very
porn.
satisfying.
Here are the movies that were clicked through. This is the last time I talked to you. After Sun was clicked through. It's a movie that I'll be catching up with very soon. It's finally available. I've been wanting to watch that one for a while. I'm sure that it will be a part of the overall 2022 discussion. After Sun is one of those movies that's showing up on all sorts of top 10 lists. The Green Mile was clicked through, as well as Moon. Fuck yes. The New World, as well as The Thin Red Line. Hardcore, which still needs to be seen by this guy. I'm pointing at me right now. The Tree of Life is clicked through. Look at that. Thin Red Line and The Tree of Life. American Beauty. Oh, she's beautiful and she's American. The original Kings of Comedy was clicked through, as well as Biodome. I have a feeling that somebody watched The Whale and they got inspired and they went and watched Biodome. Because he's in there, right? Fraser?
He is in there. Brendan Fraser is in there.
Yeah.
Wait. He's in Encino Man.
He's
Is
in
he in
Biodome.
I think that's Stephen Baldwin and Pauly Shore.
Stephen Baldwin's in there for sure. And Pauly Shore, maybe.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They're all so dumb. This is Biodome. Why am I making reaches that don't exist?
Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin's in there, but it's not Brendan Fraser.
I see no Fraser.
No Fraser? He was in. Was he in Airheads? He was in Airheads. Where they went and they took over the radio station to get their music played.
That does sound familiar. Yeah.
This is Gwar, another fucking movie I need to see, son of a bitch. Bodies, Back to the Future, Missing, To Leslie, The Fablemans, Breach, Night on Earth, and Sophie's Choice. Sophie's Choice to round it out. That's quite the
Collector's edition.
quite the double header. Can you imagine Biodome and Sophie's Choice, or Sophie's Choice followed up by
You're
little
gonna
Biodome?
you're gonna get the Bens watching those.
That would be fun to try and do like Benz-inducing double features. Oh, that's not a bad top five. I like that. Hey, I like it.
What service would that provide?
It'd be like, what would it be?
Is this like careful you injure yourself?
It'd be like, what does a woman pair poorly with?
Transamerica.
Mm-hmm.
That's a TV show. Velvet Goldmine.
Transformer.
It's a Wong Fu.
Transformer.
I don't know what that is.
It's a great documentary about like he was like the strongest man in the world at one point, and he transitioned.
Okay.
It's fucking really insightful. He was talking about, I'll never forget, my buddy Garth Donovan turned me on
Dressed
to
to
that
Kill.
to Transformer. It's a very low rent documentary, but it follows this guy with his kids, and as he's transitioning from man to a woman. What is a woman? We don't know. But he was talking. I'll never forget. He was talking about everyone thinks the genitalia is the biggest.
Hedwig
one, right?
and the Angry Inch.
That's right.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a great one. What is a
Yeah.
woman? It's fucking Hedwig. So this guy was talking about how it's everyone gets stuck on the genitalia. Obviously, that's a very big, lopping off your dick and turning into a vagina is a very, very big commitment. But he says that's not nearly as big of a commitment as the voice reconstruction, which he went in to get his larynx tweaked and fucked with so he could sound like a woman. And he says that is the real, like, no turning back, because you use your voice in every communication that you make, person to person, and there's no hiding from that. Like, no one can see below the belt when you're wearing pants, but when you're talking to someone, like, it's the real deal. I'll never forget, like, things that you don't think about unless you're actually going through that got brought up in this Transformer documentary that kind of just got brought to the table out of the fucking blue. Sorry about that.
The South Park album is in fact vinyl.
Oh, Jesus, we're still stuck on that, Kim.
I want to give credit where it's due.
Who's getting credit?
To the person who clicked through for $89.
You said the title, what they bought. I mean, they don't need the actual media to give.
I'm a completionist. Let's complete the show.
Yes.
Back to it.
Back to the program.
Yeah, we're back. Time to talk the ultimate and penultimate movies on our list.
Penultimate.
Penultimate.
It's the second to last. Brian.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Hey, Anderson, what are you looking forward to seeing in your number 2 spot?
Jamo Jaya.
Bless you.
Gio Johnny?
My narrative.
Gio Johnny.
Captain Gio Johnny is the name of my kid's fish. Jamo Jaya, directed by Justin Chon, who is an actor and director. Primarily, I think of him as a director. He made Blue Bayou, which came out a few years ago, and before that, he made Gook, which
yes.
It's tough because it's pejorative, it's a racist slang, but it's also the title of a movie that I liked quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But An Unlikely Friendship during the LA riots in 1994. This is a particular director with a particular voice, and from what early accounts in critical response to this Jamo Jaya is it's maybe his best work yet, and it's about a rapper with a rising career. He's to the moon, right? He's on his way to the moon.
He's ascending.
And he hires a U.S. manager and label, taking over from his father, who had steered his career to date. So
there's some tension there.
Some tension, and Jamo Jaya is the name of it. That's my number 3.
Good call, Gio Johnny.
Jamo Jaya. Number 2. Sorry about that. And then that's my narrative, and then my documentary. My number 2 most anticipated documentary that I'm excited to see. I love the premise of this one.
Let's hear it.
Fantastic Machine, Brian. You come across this guy?
Yeah, that's almost on the list, about cameras.
From the first camera,
yeah,
it tracks our society and the world, as it were, and how it changed from the very first camera, which you got to imagine just kind of changed everything, right? So one camera in the world to
revolutionary.
To 45 billion cameras now worldwide.
I even count phones. Sure.
Holy shit, 45 billion. That's how many we have today. The visual sociologists, filmmakers widen their lens. See what they did there? Widen their lens.
Good.
to expose both humanity's unique obsession with the camera's image and the social consequences that lay ahead. This could be ultra fascinating, or it could be a bore. It could be a snooze. This is a director team, which a lot of these films are director teams. I don't know if you noticed
seen
that. But this is, I'll just say Axel and Maximilian.
Yeah.
Axel Danielson and Maximilian Van Eyertrick. Eyertrick. No, not household names yet, Bri. But that's what I have to say about that. I love the idea of camera. I used to have this, it was one of those like stoner discussions.
You had a lamp made out of a camera.
I do. You do too.
That's not where you're going, though.
No, that's actually, I have a lamp made out of a camera as well as a projector made into a lamp. We both have similar things from
Yes,
Tim
indeed.
Judd, a listener, Tim Judd, friend Tim Judd, who makes very good.
Oh,
fine
yeah, I
art.
guess mine's a projector. It's not a camera.
Old cool now. But the Lumiere brothers, they actually, what they invented, to get like real nerdy right now on you, it's like the Lumiere brothers, that the real inventors of cinema, Brian.
Go on.
They created a projector / camera. It would turn into a camera.
Oh,
so you
clever.
could shoot, and then you could turn it around and project, which makes perfect sense, right?
Way ahead of their time.
Ahead of their time. Edison did not like the cut of their jib because they were trying to take,
Cutting in his territory.
yes, which was their territory. He just
That's a
took
good point.
it. So I like stoner talk. I used to say, like, dude, man, if nature invented cameras, like if nature had cameras, like flowers were just fucking cameras, like there'd probably be no God. Because like, like they wouldn't need to make rules for us because everyone would know what everyone was doing, man.
It's deep.
I wonder if they're going to get into that at all with this documentary. Or if they want to do some reshoots and take that angle, kind of explore that. They should
Well,
probably-
that's very common after a festival.
it is true, though. Like, if we all knew what everyone was
It
doing.
is true, though.
If we all knew what everyone was doing, there would be no
Think about
reason.
it.
There would be no reason for all these rules about this magic man. Could,
Yeah, but you think so, but then again, like a city like London, literally every square foot is covered by camera.
Right.
It's still crime.
Yeah, but they wear masks.
I think we're agreeing.
We may be. Remember that
We know
red ticket?
God, man.
There was this is years ago, but there was a red ticket camera in Arizona, and there was a man that was furious about it because like you get like a red light camera,
Yeah.
and people were just getting tickets left and right for those red light. So it was running it daily wearing a monkey mask, and they finally caught him. Every day he would run it wearing a monkey mask.
That is a Toronto maneuver.
Number 2 for me. Wait, no, you do a documentary?
I did. It's the camera one that
Yes,
caused me to go on a jag.
Number 2 for me. I can't believe they're
Wait,
making.
I got to say the name of it again, just in case everyone forgot, which I'm sure they did. And that is
Fantastic Machine.
Fantastic Machine. Thank
It's
you.
all my also rants. Number 2, every once in a while, a documentary comes around, especially at Sundance, where I read the description. I'm like, holy shit, they're making a documentary about that thing that I've wondered about for years and don't know anything about. Probably could do some research, but glad it's going to be part of a 90-minute expose or feature or bio, whatever. This is, I'm struggling because it's the story of, it's Squaring the Circle, the story of hypnosis. Did you come across this? Hypnosis, directed by oh Jesus, I should have done this. Antonin Corbin. Oh, but there's a lot of vowels in there.
We might be reading this movie.
You may not know Hypnosis. In fact, you probably don't. Most people probably don't. But you've seen their
Are you
art.
talking about the rapper? Because
No.
I've never met him.
It's Hypnosis with a G in the middle, Hypnosis. But they specialized in making album covers back in like the 70s. They probably went on for longer than that, but like most famously, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here. They worked with Paul McCartney, Led Zeppelin. You've probably seen their art on the cover of an album or a dorm room poster or something. And I always wondered, like, because Pink Floyd was known for having these striking album covers, and I would look at like in the liner notes of my DVD or my CD and be like, cover art by Hypnosis. I'm like, who the fuck is Hypnosis? And now we're going to find out who these guys were and what they did and how they got big.
A lot of weed, a lot of mushrooms.
Maybe it might be a psychedelic,
I would imagine so.
or maybe they're just straight shooters. Maybe they're just
LSD.
great photographers.
I actually sent this link to Carano.
Oh, really?
This
Oh,
seems
he would
very,
love this.
very Carano-esque,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, you are going to like this documentary when it comes out. I meant to send it. I don't know if I did, but I meant to. If I did, I'm sorry, buddy.
This is the first he's hearing about it.
That's your number two?
Number two.
Hypnosis.
Squaring the Circle, the story of hypnosis.
All right, number one narrative for me, the narrative that I have the best feelings about. I think that I'm probably going to enjoy it the most. It is starring one Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Louis Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Elaine from Seinfeld, as many of us know. And she is reunited with Nicole.
I know her from Veep.
Hollofcenter.
Oh, yeah.
From
Enough Said. Enough Said, yeah.
We loved Enough Said with the late, great James Gandolfini
right.
and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Written and directed by Nicole Hollofcenter. And she also did the movie that came out that I didn't love from a couple of years ago.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, what's it called? Son of a bitch.
Don't you have it there?
It's the one with Melissa McCarthy. Sorry. Will you ever forgive me? Yeah.
I like that movie.
It was okay. There was something with the tone. There was something with the tone. Enough Said was fantastic. The worst part, Can You Ever Forgive Me, was what it was called. Enough Said, the tone was just so good. I'll never forget her yoga pants in that movie. Hollofcenter is a very adept, clever, interesting writer. She also was brought on, I think, kind of last minute to punch up The Last Duel.
Oh, really?
And give a female perspective.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
So that is my my number one. You Hurt My Feelings. Oh, I didn't even tell you the premise, which I think
I know nothing about this.
This might have made the list just on the premise alone because it's a comedy drama, and it's all about a novelist and her she's been married for a long time, and it suddenly all goes into shambles when she overhears her husband giving an honest reaction to her latest book.
Oh.
So
oh no.
I love the setup. I love this. It's almost like force majeure where you kind of see
it's got a
your
Ruben
partner.
Östlund kind of feel to it.
Yeah. Little Larry David in there perhaps.
Sure.
So that's the setup. I think it's David Cross and Julia Louis-Dreyfus are the couple. I could be wrong on that. But it's a great setup, and it's a very skilled writer and director behind it. So I have big hopes for You Hurt My Feelings. And then my number one documentary has already been mentioned. It's the only crossover we have, evidently, and that's still a Michael J. Fox movie. I am very excited to see this from the director of Waiting for Superman, which you and I both reacted very positively to. I think that movie would have been a whole lot bigger if it wasn't for the teachers union trying to muzzle it. But still, a Michael J. Fox movie will probably be heartbreaking, insightful, and hopefully memorable, or maybe it just never even gets a proper release, and this is the last time you ever hear of it. Who knows?
I have a feeling it'll be a popular film.
I definitely get the sense that Sundance is so big that they can put messages first and optics first, and they've been doing this for a long time. Before actual quality of movies. So okay. I think that's why we get a lot of movies that don't see the light of day, because
because they have an important theme or subject or something. Right.
So that Sundance can say, like, look at what we're shining the light on, because people are going to come. I mean, they built it. People have been coming now long enough that they don't have to have the sex appeal. They can kind of just go completely
esoteric,
politically, to make sure that it skews their politically, Sure. No, there's causes involved, and there's untold stories. Not that these are bad things, but you're right. There's sometimes not bad things.
That goes in front of quality sometimes.
I think it goes in front of like cinema too. Like even if you have like a shitty movie, if you have the right message that we're like,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I think that could be like a small
Saving
opening
grace,
for a small little window.
Kick that window open.
You might be able to get in there, Bri.
Let's get the fingertips in there. Left the window. Number one for me. Would you consider my number two, The Story of Hypnosis, a music documentary?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because those guys don't make music. They make album covers.
Do they exist? Do they have a story to tell if it wasn't for music?
I assume they exist. They're artists, but photographers. But I know
they would
saying.
probably exist. Yeah, like,
probably not a documentary made about them.
It's not like they were fathered and sired by like musical instruments or anything. But yeah, I mean, like, the documentary doesn't exist.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, my number one is my second music doc. This is as soon as I saw this, I'm like, well, it's my number one. It's a profile of a famous man by the name of Richard Wayne Penniman. You may know him as Little Richard. Little Richard, I Am Everything is the title, directed by Lisa Cortez. We all know Little Richard, but you probably know and as do I, the caricature version of him, the over-the-top, sequins and diamonds and just everything, the eyeliner. And I think we're going to get to know a little more about Richard Wayne Penniman. Background, Avery, I'm sure you know this, huge influence on the Beatles, especially Paul McCartney, especially in those early days. You can hear him, woo, all the woos, that's all Little Richard, and it's all a homage. So I am looking forward to learning more about Little Richard, a.k.a. Richard Wayne Penniman.
And he feels like he got the short end of the stick, right?
How so?
Because I think he's said it before. He feels like he should be way more famous or notable than he is, where people kind of think of him as that stereotype.
Yeah, I think
kind
people
of
think of him as a novelty.
almost
Yes,
novelty.
a novelty act. Whereas he had the goods, man. He was a performer.
Yeah.
Like he dominated the stage. He was incredible. And I only know a little bit about the man. I'm dying to know more.
His mustache.
The little pencil and mustache. It's all the hair. It's all.
You know his mustache
comical.
lives on?
Where?
John Waters.
Oh, yeah, he's carrying the torch.
That's why he has the mustache. It's
For Little Richard?
Yeah, it's for
I
Little
didn't know
Richard. He
that.
loved Little Richard so much, and that he stole
I
his
didn't know
mustache.
that.
Yeah, he either told me that at Loveline or he said it on air. I can't remember, but I learned it when he was on Loveline.
That's great.
And it was fascinating. I had never heard that before. I mean,
Neither
everyone
have
thinks
I.
of it as John Waters' pencil thin
Sure.
mustache, but he's like, this is just Little Richard. Like,
That's
I'm
great.
a huge fan. Yeah.
All right. There you go. That's my number one. Anything also Bryan and Anderson?
I'm shocked, and I know you want, with your gimmick of nothing but documentaries, but Flora and Son I thought would be right up your alley.
Why is that?
Because John Carney, the guy that did Sing Street, which you absolutely
I do
loved, and
love Sing Street.
he did Once, and this is
That's
another
okay.
another movie in the same vein as those. This is probably a movie that you'll be fascinating 3-4 months from now. You'll probably forget this conversation happened.
Yeah.
And you'll be going on
Remind
about
me
how
of
much
it.
you love it. You might even do classic Bryan move and be like, this was on my Sundance list, of course. Flora and Son, absolutely love. I knew
that
from
would
the
be
get-go.
something.
Also Rans, I got a few. Go ahead. What are yours?
Mine, the already mentioned Justice, the disappearance of Sherry Height. Look, I always knew about the Height report, but I don't know much about her. Fantastic Machine, Anderson mentioned. Is there anybody out there? You hear about this?
Is there anybody out there?
This is a woman with a severe body disorder. She's crippled. I don't know if that's the correct term. She's disabled.
Yes.
There you go.
Or abled, I think they call them.
And she made a film about looking for people who have, I guess, similar afflictions.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what her affliction was in reading about the
Spina
description.
bifida?
It was like, is anybody out there? And she was just looking for somebody who had the same kind of issues that she did.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. I'm sorry. The Longest Goodbye looked very interesting. That is a profile of astronauts as they prepare to journey to Mars.
It was more about how they deal psychologically
Yeah.
with being alone.
Exactly, the
Which sounded
isolation that follows.
boring.
Fascinating. And also Pretty Baby, Brooke Shields.
Yes.
Although I don't
And
have
that's
that
going to be a
much
lot about look at what Hollywood did to this
Right.
this young woman.
exploiting and whatever. Well, I think her mom did a lot of that.
Docs also ran. Well, I mean, yeah, that's
Well, her mom was
part
a-
of the problem as well. I mean, with a lot of what goes on in Hollywood,
All
it's
these
the
batty
people
broads.
that push them. I wasn't saying that at all. Documentaries also runs Deep Rising, which is a look, at the oceans and how unhealthy they are. One of my biggest problems with this one, though, Deep Rising. I'm sure that's going to have some important messaging in there, but the fact that Jason Momoa is the narrator kind of bothers me.
Well, he lives in the sea.
It's a little
He speaks to him.
a little annoying, right? Aquaman.
Yeah, who else is going to interview the fish?
20 days
Oh,
in
that was really funny.
No, it wasn't at all. Who else is going to interview the fish? That was Martin. 20 days in
It deserved more, but it didn't deserve a ton.
You're right.
Mariupol.
Yeah,
It did not
somewhere in the
deserve
middle.
to be pointed out by the person who said it. 20 days in Mariupol is about the Russian invasion and beginning in Ukraine and the journalists trapped in the city and how they actually have to do something about it, I guess. And
Marlin Call?
it's called 20 Days in Mariupol, so it sounds like a very bleak, war-torn documentary, but there might be some. Remember, Syria had 3 or 4 documentaries.
They're
that
still
we
having
watched
documented. I think one of the ones this year is a Syrian
a few years ago. Bad Press is a interesting sounding documentary all about the Muskegee Nation and how they got the free press issues with censorship going on and how they're fighting against that. And then the narratives. The only also ran that I would like to mention is something called Mama Cruise. Mama Cruise, all one word, Mama Cruise, and it's about a grandma who discovers porn. And from what I understand, the story is that she's lonely and not thought of as a sexual object by her husband, and has been ignored for years. And then she's looking for something online, and she discovers porn by mistake. And this is a comedy/drama, I believe. So God knows where grandma and porn go, but interesting Mama Cruise could be something.
Could be.
Could be.
I don't assume we have a listener top 5.
No, we do not.
Yeah, that would ask them to do a whole lot of research.
We do the research around here. Instead, let's skip straight to our gambling.
We do have gambling. Last week we gambled on Alice Darling.
Oh, God. The movie that no one knew about?
Anderson gets 42, Brian 38. Actual score, 99 reviews. The actual Rotten Tomato score is
38%. What is it?
83.
That's
making
reversed.
Anderson the winner.
Shit.
All right, I assign you nothing because we're not assigning. I'll just assign you a listener pick. I'm excited about doing the
I'm
listener.
going to assign you a listener pick.
I already assigned you, so.
All right, that's true.
Did you write it down?
I did not.
Are you going to be texting me?
text you in about 24 hours.
All right, for those of you who like to play along at home and watch along, and I can tell you, the listeners, for the most part, give us really interesting picks and movies that we otherwise would have missed or we have missed at this point, and they make sure that it helps fill out the canon that is the film vault. So Josh Butler has assigned us After Midnight, which is like a midnight type movie, horror film, and then Tam Smith, one of my favorites. Love you, Tam. We'll be talking Friday, Tam, before you leave the country, Tam.
Is this the one with Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke?
No. Brian, no. It's a different, no. Tam Smith has assigned us the B.J. Novak film Vengeance from, I think, just last year.
Is After Midnight from 2020? There's a lot of After Midnights here.
Oh, Christ almighty. No, it's just look up Tex Montana, right? But it's good that you bring this up because if people want to play at home, it's go ahead. Let's start wrapping up the show. I'll tell you. All right. It's 2019. It's like the very first one that pops up. Brian, what's the matter with you?
It is thin movie season.
God damn it.
So we are going to be gambling on. It seems like it's the only one that's in theaters. Well, you have a choice. You can either gamble on the one that's in theaters or the one that's going to streaming. The one going to streaming is the Teen Wolf movie. The one going to theaters is the latest Kevin Sorbo religious movie, Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist.
Left Behind. That's a very popular series.
Talk at all about the Trump movie?
No.
We didn't talk about that. Was all
Avery
off air,
brought
wasn't
to our
it?
attention.
Yes.
This is good. If you're still listening, you're still actively listening this late into the program.
What do we do
here's a treat.
What do we do with this?
Can you, Avery,
I should just read the synopsis.
No, go ahead. We watched a little bit of this, too.
Give us the title.
It's first it's Trump versus the Illuminati. This is streaming on Amazon.
Based on a true story.
Yes, naturally. A Chinese clone of the 45th U.S. president, in case you weren't sure, Donald J. Trump, survives the Earth's destruction by escaping his maximum security lab and stowing away aboard the last Chinese space-bound shuttle. Fused with the latest AI technology and cursed with eternal life, he suffers the existential consequences of having to live forever in a universe of the dead.
This is good.
During his escape from Earth, Trump's ship crash lands on Mars, stranding him on a barren prison planet of his own making. Blazing hot days and sub-freezing nights, he joyrides in his only toy, his souped-up surface rover. But while across space, the human race continues to fight its most costly battle ever for survival. Upon discovering he's been prophesied to destroy the Illuminati, Trump's clone joins forces with the surviving humans to bring the battle straight to the Illuminati headquarters.
Jesus Christ, it's still going.
In hell. But when Donnie meets Satan himself, he'll be in for the fight of his cloned life.
I don't mind this.
Scant hour and 15 minutes.
What do we do with this?
I kind of want to watch it more than Killer Clowns. I'm going to be honest.
Based on the few clips we listened to, it seems it has its appeal.
Where can this be seen?
Amazon Prime.
Oh, see?
Donnie Trump is wearing a helmet throughout, so you cannot see his face, which is a bit of a cop-out.
Yeah.
But the impression is tremendous.
Is it? I feel like Tyler does a better
That's
Trump.
why it's tremendous. This is the best.
Tremendous doesn't mean good. It just means larger than life.
It's like having somebody do a shitty Christopher Walken. Everyone can do Walken. You can find one person who can do it well. Yeah. Trump versus the Illuminati. Compelling.
As far as the After Midnight, Brian,
and on DVD for $14
Oh,
if you want to.
It's the Jeremy Gardner version. All right, he's Tex Montana.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
Do we want to gamble on Left Behind or Teen Wolf?
I think Sarbo
Well, Trump.
or Trump. Is there? We could do Trump. Is there a Rotten score?
I
Rotten
could
Tomato
see.
score?
It can't be.
I
It
could
might
see.
be.
Don't
It's on
let me-
Prime.
Don't let me see.
Is there?
That's IMDb. Let's see if we got
Brian,
Rotten Tomatoes.
refresh.
Yeah.
Just refresh your computer and let us know.
Yeah, there is a score.
No, we got nothing.
God damn.
I'm
Got
going to
nothing.
guess 0.
What's your review?
Is the
reviews?
Sorbo
It's
movie
nothing.
going to have a score?
I think it would, right?
Maybe we just don't gamble this way.
No, we should. What's the other one?
The Teen Wolf the movie.
Okay. Is it animated?
No, it's they're rebooting the.
Is this
Remember
like a
the
black-
sexy
is it
the
like a black
sexy
thing?
teenage
Oh, okay.
version they did.
Thought it was like a. Oh, they redo these movies now with like Karate Kid.
No, they made a sexy version on like MTV
Ew.
15 years ago, and
What do you mean,
it's
ew?
this.
I've pledged myself to it numerous times. It's great.
Oh, the Wolf Woman was in it from
Serves a
What is a
purpose.
Woman?
What? The wolf woman. What is a cat? That was a great gotcha moment. I did like that quite a bit because people just paint themselves in a corner. So in that, what is a woman? And it's like when people were like, "I'm not." If you're not a woman, you're not allowed to ever say what a woman is. Like it's just a ridiculous argument.
Sure.
Let's do Teen Wolf. That one has a score.
I was thinking about Sorbo.
I got nothing for Sorbo. I'm worried no one's gonna review it.
Who stars in the Teen Wolf? Jesus Christ! Speaking of the bottom,
Who
of the
directs
barrel.
Starring.
Is it
who's
Ridley
that?
Scott?
Ironically,
Tyler
Sarbo.
Posey. He probably came into Loveline. You probably saw this guy.
Tyler Posey?
And Orny Adams is in this.
Orny Adams. Love Orny Adams.
All right, I got a number. I mean,
I don't know what the fuck.
what are we doing? Does it matter? I guess just for like the sake of completing
Show must
the
go on.
circle. Yeah, the show must go on. I got a number.
I don't know.
What's the runtime on this? Can we get a couple hints?
3.5 hours.
The director, I'm assuming, is like a TV director or
Let's see what the runtime is. What do we got?
Oh,
Hour and 17.
is this straight to like Netflix?
Is this
that what
guy-
it's-
Straight to
theaters?
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus?
Is it? Okay.
Hour and 17.
All right.
That's all.
I just
straight
adjusted my
films are.
score. Okay, I got one.
I got one.
I mean, everything, everywhere, all at once
Mm-hmm.
leads nominations, right? With 11, I think,
Yeah.
and it came out around the same time.
That's right. I see where you're going with
You
this.
see where I'm going? So
This
I
could
think
be the
Teen
next-
Wolf is trying to follow the same pattern.
Yeah, yeah. Get in
hoping
early.
for the same result. Yeah. All right, on 3.
Savvy. I feel like I want to change my number. All right.
I've fluctuated by 20 points, Brian, in my head, back and forth. 20 points.
0 to 20.
All right,
All right.
on 3.
Sure.
1. Oh Christ! Hold on, I'm changing again. All right. All right. Now I'm okay. 1, 2, 53.
55. Oh, look at us.
That is
Look at
close.
I
us.
feel good. I was gonna say 42.
All right. Anderson gets 53. Brian
I was gonna say
55.
37 at one point.
The current score with 8 reviews.
100.
50%.
Shit. This doesn't look good. Oh, that can change very, very dramatically based on another review.
Well, that means that people would have to see it.
God, that's a really good point.
I've never seen 1 ounce of Paramount Plus, and I want to because apparently
Really?
the entire.
There's some good stuff there.
The reason why I haven't yet is because I guess that I get it for free for being
Wait, wasn't Beavis and Butthead on there?
T-Mobile.
I thought that was H.
No,
I
they were
think it
on
might have been Paramount. So maybe I had to get
Yeah.
the little
because they're an MTV property.
little 7-day or whatever. But
I watched the pilot shit Halo series. Ugh.
no good.
Ugh.
But the South Park 25-year anniversary Red Rock show with Ween and Primus is apparently on there, and I need to
Oh.
watch that. But I guess if you're with T-Mobile, you're supposed to get Paramount for free for like a year or something, and I don't like paying for things that I shouldn't have to pay for. You know what I'm
understand
saying?
that.
It's weird. It's weird. Like I don't want to give this giant conglomerate some of my money if I'm supposed to get it from them for free,
Right.
especially if it's just a matter of turning on the spigot. You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
really good point.
Yeah. So I every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, that's like a phone call or internet work. So I just don't look at Paramount. I need to.
Hey, thanks Matt Birkenbile. First of all, is this a new submission? I've never seen his name before.
I believe so, yeah.
I think it should be the new art for our show week in, week out.
Welcome to the club, Matt Birkenbile. Strong first effort.
It's beyond strong. It's fantastic.
This is excellent.
It's us as RRR, and one of the most pivotal moments in the movie, and that says something because there's so many pivotal points in that movie. RRR.
Excellent work.
And it's really well done. And I mean, it's slick looking. It's good looking art.
What if Matt Birkenbile never did another art again? He just stopped with that one.
I mean, he would have done good work for us 100% of the time.
Excellent average.
I like this art a lot, and I want to make it like the new art for like a few weeks or something. I love it. You know what? I feel like we should until the Oscars are done, like as a protest for them snubbing RRR.
Oh yeah, that's our stand.
Yeah, that's our stand.
All right.
We will do a small part to try and put this movie out there more.
A small
Since
part.
The Oscars.
How about we make it our Patreon art? Because it's always just our logo.
Oh, should I? Oh yeah. Well, I wonder. Is there a way? Would you be able to? Do you have any idea how you could change the iTunes art? I know there's a way to do it. It's just I'm afraid of fucking up.
Yeah,
the
I'm
entire
afraid
feed.
it would just ruin the entire thing.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can carve out some time.
Thanks, Matt. That was excellent. Hope to see more from you. Thanks, Mock Puppet, for being our featured artist this week. Check them out at AndersonandBryan.com. All their tunes. Thanks to all of our Patreon listeners. We got a lot of good stuff going on over there, including when we're recording in a couple of days, but you can probably hear it very, very soon. Top 5 non-new movies of 2022. Just the last year, movies that we caught up on. Not movies from the year before, movies from years past. We do it every year. It's a fun episode.
Yeah, because every year we watch a number of movies, a couple hundred movies, and about half of those are movies that came out of the year that we're watching them in, and about half of them are movies, throwback movies. So usually, most years, as the numbers would suggest, like the best movies we saw in that calendar year are not movies from that calendar year. They're movies from the past.
Movies assigned by listeners. Movies assigned by us. This will be
That's
fun.
what we got to do one day too. Is top 5 listener assigned movies.
We haven't done that?
I don't think so.
Oh, shit. All right, let's definitely do that. Check us out over at patreon.com/thefilmvault. The Amazon banner sits atop the website. We appreciate you using that for all your shopping needs. AndersonandBryan.com is that website. Anderson and Bryan on Instagram. The Film Vault on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks to Giovanni, Mitch Burns, Mike Cole, and Eric Kath. Check out Invade the Decade. Check out Avery's live show this weekend at
Amazing Comedy Theater in Huntington Beach at 7.
That's it. Check that out. And until next time.
We do it for Van Gogh.